I've tried all kinds of other things in my life that was not good for my wellness, whatever that may be. And the only thing that helped me was to what I call allowing my spirit to become like a sticky bun, so that the goodness sticks to it, and it started closing this big hole, this gap that was inside of me. And when I run my men's programs, that's the first thing that I try to teach them or I share with them is, if you're here to heal, then we have to look at your spirit. What does that mean? What does it mean for you? Because what means for you isn't the same as what it means for me. So each one of us are very individualized even on that healing process and what that looks like. So to bring communities together, we all need to come together and look at what is it that we can put together into that medicine wheel of ourselves as we travel this place together, and bring all those things of all peoples together to make that trueness of wellness. What does that look like?
I love the work that's done in this community. I know how much it's needed. Actually, right now, Brantford is number 2 in all of Ontario and number 7 in all of Canada for police-reported domestic violence. So I know how important it is to have this agency here. Also working in the shelter, I see firsthand how much the work is needed. And when I go out into the community in my public education role, I can provide that education, but I also get to connect with past clients that have moved along in their journey and were able to kind of get over those hurdles that they're experiencing with domestic violence. So it's really inspiring.
And it was very important for me to have a job that wasn't just about collecting a paycheck or using my skill set, but to know that I'm helping to make a difference in our community. And even more so, the number of people that I have that were friends or former professional colleagues that know that we exist but don't really know to the extent that our community needs our services. That has become a bit of a personal mission for me, is to help. That fuels me day in and day out to go after asking for additional funding and to engage in community corporations and small businesses and large businesses, and to make those relationships is something that's, again, near and dear to my heart from a professional standpoint. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up, was to develop business and to grow it. So to do it in a positive way for our community makes a big difference. So I kind of hit the lottery here, and I still get to be with my kids.
You know, whether it be singing bowls or flute that I made, or any other kind of drums and rattles, dancing, singing, culture, breathing, feeling the air, different types of medicines, what those medicines mean. As long as it's you look at it in the right way and they fit for you to have you become well, then there should be no issues with it, no labeling, no looking at you that you're doing something inappropriate, because if you're becoming better, it's not inappropriate, it's wonderful.
I live in this community as well, so when I see, a family out in the community after they've been here, and I see that, they're doing okay, mom and kids seem to be happy, you see them playing at the park, it just makes my heart warm that, they are at a point where they feel safe that they can do that, and that you see the kids smiling, they're not having to worry about, being away from home or not feeling safe, so that's a huge one too.
One of the biggest impacts for me has been most recently speaking with a mother that was here many years ago with her young children, and she was trying to figure out how she was going to explain to her kids where they were going, because they weren't going home. They couldn't go home, it wasn't safe. And so she said, well, we're going to go to the hotel. And they were 3 and 5 at the time, and they're now teenagers. And she was just telling me the other day about how they said, Mom, why can't we go back to the hotel? So to hear that Nova Vita was, obviously we played a positive role in helping them find safety, and to see that they've been able to rebuild their lives, and that the children later on still talk positively about the shelter. Being at the shelter was a positive experience. I think we strive for that, but that's one of those stories that touches my heart. And just the other day, hearing a young man know that this is going to be his home for a while, asking if his friends could come and live here too, because they get the tour of the shelter, the home. We're sitting here in our children's playroom, and it's awesome. So that for me, and when I'm thinking about how I can create special events and to drive additional funding for Nova Vita, to be able to have those stories and to experience them firsthand, to say, you know what, yeah, that we need to do this, because we need to keep making this place awesome so that more and more families can be safe and can transition into a life free of violence.
I think we all should come together. All the organizations, all the groups that want healing, want that, sit down and talk about what does that look like for you. I can tell you what it looks like for me. What does it look like for you? And maybe we can come up with a plan of diversity for everyone who doesn't have an understanding of who they even really are, their culture, or their background, because of family values, because of religious things, governmental things, all those kind of things that stripped us from who we really are away.
But also we take a very holistic approach, so we also do look at the fathers and husbands and boyfriends and have support services and counseling. We're always looking at how can we create a life free of domestic violence. So how do you do that? Well, there's always going to be a need for new programming. There's always going to be a need for shift as things evolve. Let's be honest, it wouldn't hurt if we were able to expand the number of beds in our shelter. I think the statistic, we just ran some numbers recently, and we were at 100% capacity for 90 days and over capacity 78 days last year. So, you talk about what we do. That's why we're out in the community. That's why we're thankful for Grand Wellness and the Wellness of the Grand wanting to give the support back to Nova Vita. It's those events that really help us make that difference, because we all are always trying to not just keep the status quo. We're looking at what we can do better, what we can evolve. And so we're very thankful for community partners and looking at how we can evolve those events. But also, let's be honest, life today is so busy and it's so challenging. I also want to look at special events as a night to just get out and blow off some steam. Is it a poetry writing night? Is it a paint night? Is it a pedicure night? How can we have these events for men and women that creates a little bit more community awareness about who Nova Vita is and why we're needed in our community? Connect with small business owners, large businesses, individuals, professionals, and just create a network of giving and sharing, and a network of just kind of de-stress, because I don't think we do that enough anymore.
We all walk the same place. We all are the same way. We just do things different. We breathe, and we're all part of that creation. There's no color, there's no race. We're just human beings. I am. That's all we are. I am. You am. I am.
I think if we do what we can with what we have in any given moment, and we start to push the boundaries of what we think that means for us. I mean, I was 4 months out of literally running for my life, and we had the first Wellness on the Grand. So anything's possible. Last year's success with Wellness on the Grand was divine, and so that was for me like a heaven on earth, especially compared to what I've been through. So I guess to always sort of like push yourself creatively to look at the different ways that you can make an impact, and it can look all different ways. I think if we just start to find ways though to celebrate together, to play together, to have wellness events, to just take care of one another, those sorts of things, just in the moment, accessing the moment and harvesting the beauty that is available to us when our hearts are in center and we're really connecting with the people around us, letting ourselves be vulnerable.